Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be going over Joe Biden's best case scenario. Now, in my previous video, we went over Trump's best case scenario. Make sure y'all go check that out. That was a pretty good video. And today we're going to be going over Joe Biden's best case scenario. Now, just like the previous video, we're going to start off with all of their safe states, and then we're going to go into each swing state, and we're going to pick out the best poll for Joe Biden, and we're going to give him that poll and add that to the whole state, and we're going to see where that puts him on the electoral map, and see how he does against his Donald Trump. Now let's start off with Donald Trump's safe states. These are states that I think are way out of Biden's reach, even if this is a best case scenario. So that state's going to be Utah, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, North and South Dakota, Nebraska at large, and their first and third district. I think Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, South Carolina. Now, these are states that I think are going to be very safe for Trump. We're also going to give him Maine second district. I'm going to give him Alaska, and I'm also going to give him Iowa and Ohio. These states have I've seen so many polls come out of Iowa, especially where Trump's up 18 points, and Ohio, Trump's up big time too. And I think these states are going to be safe no matter what for Trump. So, but these are going to be our states we're going to start off with. Now, with Joe Biden, his safe states are probably going to be they're going to be California, they're going to be Colorado, they're going to be, let's see, Vermont, Massachusetts, Maryland, Delaware, Hawaii for sure, and we're also going to give him Connecticut, Rhode Island. I'm going to give him Illinois too, just because I've seen polls where Biden's up by 9 points, but since it's a best case scenario, we're just going to go ahead and give him Illinois. And same for New York. I think New York's going to be Democrat no matter what. So, but yeah, these are going to be your safe states for Joe Biden. Now, let's get right into it. We're going to start with Texas. Now, if we come over here to Texas, we can see here's the polling for Texas so far this year. And yeah, there's just no way. Even in a best case scenario, I still don't think Biden's going to be able to pick off Texas. Texas has been voting to the right tremendously in the last couple of elections. I don't think they've gone blue in a long, long time. So, yeah, I mean, as you can see, Trump's up at least 5 points in every single poll. So I don't think that's going to work out too bad for Biden. And if we come over to Florida, here in Florida, it's the same thing for Texas. You can see Trump's up at least 4 points in every single poll for against Joe Biden. So if we put that on the map, and here's the 2020 election, as you can see, yeah, even in the 2020 election where Joe Biden had a very good run and won the presidency, Texas and Florida still voted very Republican. Trump won Florida by, it looks like, almost 4 points, and he won Texas by, let's say, 6 points probably. So if we come over here, I'm just going to give Donald Trump Texas and Florida. I don't think there's any way Joe Biden's going to be able to win those states. Now, if we come up to Georgia, Georgia is a interesting state. Joe Biden did win Georgia by barely, hanging on by barely a hair in the 2020 election. So it is a possibility he did win Georgia. But the way this state has been polling so far in this year, it's been polling the same way as Texas and Florida. Like, it appears that Trump is losing his lead slightly in the polls, but both of the ones that do have him down are by Bloomberg. So, but all the rest of them have Trump up by at least 5 points. So with Biden winning Georgia barely in 2020, and his presidential numbers, approval ratings been going down tremendously ever since he got elected. I just don't think there's any way he's going to win Georgia this year. I think that's going to go to Trump. Now, if we go up to North Carolina, we can see North Carolina's kind of the same way as Georgia. Trump did win North Carolina in 2020. He won it by, a point pretty much. But yeah, the polling shows it right here. Even in 2024, this state's probably going to go red again. So I don't think there's any way Joe Biden's going to win North Carolina, even in a best case scenario. Now, if we go to Virginia, Virginia is a pretty blue state. They went blue for Biden by 10 points in 2020. And there's still a lot of polling that's come out of Virginia, and Biden is leading the polls in almost every single one. There's been a few recent polls where they've had Trump and Biden tied. But other than that, this state I think is going to be blue. We're going to give this to Biden. So if we pick out the best poll, we can see Biden is up by 4. And if we apply that to the map, that makes Virginia we'll say a lean Democrat state. Now let's go up to what's our next poll? Pennsylvania. Let's go up to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is pretty much the same way when it comes to Georgia and North Carolina. Their polling has been tremendously voting for Trump this year. As you can see, Trump's up by 4 or 5 points in every single poll that's come out. Even the Bloomberg polls, the one that had, which was it? Trump's lead slightly here in North Carolina, and also Trump's lead barely hanging on in Georgia. In Pennsylvania, it has Trump up by 7, which is crazy. So as you can see, Trump's is growing in Pennsylvania. And if we go back to the 2020 map, Biden did win Pennsylvania by 2, pretty much just a 1 point in 2020. So, again, with his approval ratings going down and everything, and the polling doesn't even have Biden at all winning Pennsylvania, not even one poll this year. I don't think Pennsylvania is going to go to Biden this year. I think Pennsylvania is going to be a solid, Trump state for now. We're just going to give that to Trump. We'll make it lightly. I don't know. But if we go to, we need to make, I'm going to make these ones likely too, just because I think Texas and Florida are going to be solid Republican states, but Georgia and North Carolina will make likely, and Pennsylvania will make, a lean Republican margin for Donald Trump. But let's go back to Biden. Let's go to New Jersey. New Jersey is an interesting state. I think we're on the wrong one. Yeah, here we go. As you can see, Biden is up. Even against Kennedy, he's up by 7. Against Trump, he's up by 5. And in this poll, they have Trump, which Emerson College is a really good polling source. They have Trump or Biden up by 6. So if we apply that to the map, that makes New Jersey we'll say a likely Democrat state. Now let's go to New Hampshire. New Hampshire does recently have Trump up by 2, which is interesting. Maybe that's a sign of Trump's, growing in the state. But for now, we're going to pick out the best Biden poll. Biden has been leading the state in almost every single poll, it looks like, when it's against him and Donald Trump. And the best one is honestly going to be this one right here. Or that one's against DeSantis, so let's go right here. I think it's going to be this one. Biden up by 6 against Donald Trump in the state. And in 2020, he did win this state by, it looks like 7 points. So that polling does make sense. So we're going to give Biden a likely win in New Hampshire. Now let's go to Maine. The first district is very likely to vote. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Let's click on the first district. Here's the first district. It was in February 14th, 2024. So this poll is a little bit old. And then there's also one in November 2nd, 2023. And now, since this is a Biden best case scenario, I am going to give him the best poll. And I know it's still a very, very old poll, but the first district does have Biden up by 16 in 2023. And in 2024, it has Biden up by 8. But we're just going to give him the best poll. We're going to give him the 16 one. And if we go to Maine at large, we can see that Trump has been leading ever since. But there is a recent poll where Biden is up by 2, and we're going to give him those. So we'll make Maine's first district safe, and we'll make Maine's at large, likely Biden. So now let's go to Michigan. or let's go to Minnesota. So as you can see, again, Emerson College, really good polling source, has Biden up by 2 in Minnesota, and then they had another poll where Trump was up by 1. But we're gonna pick the best one. Minnesota is just like Virginia; they're a pretty solid blue state. Usually they are. It's definitely becoming more and more a swing state. Like Virginia, Trump won by 10 points in 2020. Minnesota was a little bit closer. Donald Trump came within 7 points in Minnesota. So the state is growing more of a swing state. Minnesota's been voting blue since the 90s, I think. It's the longest streak right now of a Democrat state. So, but Trump could be the one that breaks it this year. We don't know. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's definitely becoming a pretty big swing state. But we're going to give Biden the best poll, which is the one right here where he's up by 6 points, making Minnesota a likely Joe Biden state. Now let's go to Wisconsin. If we go to Wisconsin, we can see that this state is like a huge swing state. Like the polling is so in like we don't it keeps going back and forth. One poll comes out Biden, one poll comes out Trump. It's so inconsistent. That's what I was trying to say. But if we go over here and find the best Biden poll, we can see Biden's up by 3 right here. So that will make Wisconsin, we'll probably say tilt for Joe Biden. And same for Michigan. Michigan usually votes kind of like Wisconsin. They're really, really similar. But if we come over here, again, the inconsistency, Trump's up. Now Joe Biden's up in the Bloomberg polls, and they have him up by 6. So we're going to make Michigan we'll make it a likely Joe Biden state for sure. And let's go to our next states. Oh, I forgot to fill in Washington and Oregon. Yeah, there's just no way Donald Trump's winning those states. I think those are going to be safe Joe Biden states no matter what. The polling has, at worst, has Joe Biden up by 10. So I don't think Donald Trump has really any chance in these states. And if we go to 2020, you can see that Joe Biden won Washington by 20 points and Oregon by 16. So I just don't think Donald Trump has any chance in these states. But if we go to New Mexico is like Minnesota. It is becoming a pretty big swing state recently. They had Joe Biden up by 6, 8, 11 even, which we're going to take that poll. That's Joe Biden's best poll. And if we apply that to the map, that makes New Mexico a safe state for Biden. But as you can see, wrong one. As you can see, Donald Trump is gaining ground in this state. He went from 11 to 8 to 6, all the way to 1 and 2 now. So, which I don't know how good this polling is, but it does seem like he is gaining more ground in this state. But we're gonna take the best one and apply it, and that's gonna make New Mexico a safe state for Joe Biden. And if we go to the next state, Arizona, again, Arizona is gonna be like Georgia and North Carolina. The best poll has Trump up by 15. I just don't think there's any way Joe Biden's going to win the state of Arizona in 2024. And even if you go to 2020, where Joe Biden had an excellent year, he won 306 electoral votes against Donald Trump's 232. Again, just like Georgia, Biden won it by barely a hair. He won it literally by 0.30 of a point. So I just don't, with that, with this being the best year, for Joe Biden, and ever since then his pollings and approval rating's been going down. I just don't think Arizona's gonna go for Joe Biden this year at all. So I'm gonna make Arizona a likely Trump state. And if we go to Nevada, well, I did forget to fill in the District of Columbia. How did I forget that? That is one of the, if not, that is the bluest, part of the country right there. So I don't even know how I forgot that. But if we go to Nevada, we can see in Nevada that Trump has been gaining ground in most of the polls. They do have Biden up by 1, which is weird. It says it's tied 50-50, but they have Biden plus 1. And, even since this is a Joe Biden best case scenario, I will give this to Biden. We'll give it by 1. So in 2020, he also did win Nevada. He won it by 3 points. But again, with his polling and approval rating going down, I can see that he's only leading by 1 or possibly not leading at all. But since this is a best case scenario, we will give Nevada to Joe Biden. We'll give it a very tilt for Joe Biden. And yeah, as you can see that he's not doing too well. We'll even, I'll even give him Nebraska's 2nd district just to give him some more points, But that's still, even in the best case scenario with all the polling going on, all the swing states, Joe Biden still does not win the presidency this year. So, I don't know what he's got to do. He's got to step it up. He's got to get out there more, stop stuttering all the time. But I guess people in America are starting to realize that, Donald Trump might be the better option. But even in a best case scenario, I still don't, see Joe Biden winning the presidency. Now he could pick off a state maybe like Wisconsin and that could or what am I doing? He could pick up a state like Wisconsin. That still doesn't get him there. Or wait, we had him having Wisconsin. Let's say Joe Biden picks off Pennsylvania, that could get him there. Let's say Joe Biden picks off, North Carolina, that can get him there. Or even Georgia, he won it in 2020. But with all the polling going on, I just don't see these states going anywhere near blue this year. So, that puts Joe Biden at 257 and Donald Trump at 281, even in a Joe Biden best case scenario. So, as you can see, here it is. Here's your final results. Thank y'all for watching. This is going to be it for now, and we'll keep y'all updated on the polling, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out.